Darkness presses down on Derry like a wet blanket as episode 5 begins, and the tension that's been brewing finally turns into something sharp enough to cut through the entire town. Before the sun even rises, the military is already mobilizing. Major Leroy Hanlon, carrying the weight of a man who's seen too much and understands too little, makes a quiet but fierce decision. Whatever Shaw is trying to control under Neibolt Street isn't just a threat, it's a predator. So he gathers his family, refusing to leave them another hour inside the open jaws of Derry. He brings them onto the military base, a cold, fortified world of fences, checkpoints, and soldiers who don't realize how outmatched they are. The fog hangs heavy over the ground as Humvees roll toward Neibolt, soldiers jumping out and securing the area with stern, nervous faces. Floodlights blast the gloom with artificial daylight, but the shadows cling stubbornly to the corners as if alive. Far from the military chaos, Lilly, Ronnie, Will, and Rich creep toward the woods, guided by instinct more than logic. They're shaken, exhausted, and carrying more guilt than kids their age should ever know. Every missing friend, every scream they didn't answer, it all sits heavy on their shoulders. Their whispers die when they hear a shuffle ahead. They find a small tent, and beside it, Matty. He's dirty, thin, trembling, but alive. His voice is scratchy when he tells them Phil is trapped underground, still alive but losing time. Teddy and Susie weren't so lucky, and Matty says their names without flinching. What stands out is his refusal to go home. "My dad," he murmurs, cutting himself off as though the word itself hurts. Something about him is off, but the relief of seeing him alive makes the kids ignore their instincts. They decide to go underground and search for Phil. Before they leave, Lilly hands out her mother's pills, the calming ones, a small piece of adult medicine meant to soften the edges of fear. No one questions it. Fear has been killing people in Derry long before they stepped into these tunnels. If something can keep their minds steady, they'll take it. The military perimeter is a maze of shouting soldiers and flashing lights, but the kids slip through it, unnoticed, down into the storm drain where the town's secrets rot. The air below is colder than it should be, carrying a damp, stale smell that sinks into their clothes. The walls are slick. Every distant drip echoes like footsteps. Something skitters behind them, or above them, or beneath them. The tunnels twist, old pipes groaning, graffiti long smeared by water and time. Eventually, the space opens into a wider chamber layered with trash, broken tools, and bodies. Not just bodies, familiar shapes. Faces they know. Faces they've lost. And then shapes that look like Matty. Multiple versions of him, still and lifeless. Rich turns, heart hammering, staring at the boy beside them. "Matty," he whispers. The figure lifts his head at a strange angle, eyes glowing with something ancient, cold, and starving. He begins to hum, a child's tune warped into something grotesque. His skin bubbles, his limbs twist, and the illusion collapses inward before bursting outward into the unmistakable form of Pennywise the dancing clown. The children sprint in opposite directions as Pennywise's laughter ricochets through the tunnels, each echo splitting into dozens of unnervingly playful giggles. Above them, soldiers break formation as gunshots and screams echo upward. Major Hanlon dives into the tunnel entrance with his weapon raised, adrenaline drowning out good judgment. Pennywise's illusions twist the darkness into a deadly maze. A creature leaps at him, twisted, monstrous. An instinct makes him fire. The echo dies, and he realizes too late that it wasn't a monster. It was Will. Captain Russo shoves Will aside and takes the bullet instead, collapsing in Hanlon's arms with a confused look and blood spilling across his uniform. Hanlon crumbles, gripping Russo's vest, whispering apologies drowned out by cruel, echoing laughter drifting through the pipes. Deep in the tunnels, Lilly stumbles alone into silence, so thick her breaths sound thunderous. Her flashlight flickers, then dies. The dark tightens around her like a fist. Then the humming returns, soft, lilting, deliberate. Pennywise crawls from the wall itself, head turning too slowly, smile too wide, savoring her terror. Lilly falls back, her hand landing on something sharp in her pocket, the meteor shard she picked up earlier. The moment her fingers close around it, the shard ignites with cold, white-blue light. The glow spreads across the tunnel, washing over Pennywise's face like a spotlight on a guilty creature. His smile falters. His eyes narrow. He recoils as though the very light stings him, and slinks back into the crack like a cornered animal. Lilly doesn't understand it, but she can feel the power humming in the shard like a heartbeat. Meanwhile, Dick Halloran fights a different battle. The presence under Derry pulls at him, whispering through the cracks of his mind, tapping at the lockbox he built years ago to contain the worst parts of himself, memories he feared would break him if he ever let them surface. But the tunnels force their way into his mind, prying that box open. The contents, trauma, visions, forgotten horrors, spill into the open, giving Pennywise something new to feed on. When Halloran emerges from the sewer entrance, he's staggering, drenched in sweat, breathing like he's drowning in air. And behind him steps Polly, the soldier who should be dead. Polly's movements are slow. Too precise. His head tilts, his eyes empty yet alert, as if something else is puppeteering him from inside. By the time the episode fades out, one thing is unmistakably clear. Pennywise is fully awake. The illusions are stronger. The manipulation is bolder. The deaths are piling up. And the kids of Derry, tired, terrified, and now marked, are running out of places to run, out of time, and out of anything that resembles safety. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Cheers.